Warning, this video may contain spoilers for the My Hero Academia manga. If you do not like spoilers, feel free to skip section 2. Right, I know I often go on about how the internet is bad blah blah blah, but this is another topic I'm passionate about. Today I want to talk about how sometimes fandoms can ruin shows entirely. So, I've been in a lot of fandoms, to name some: Harry Potter, My Hero Academia, HAIKYU, Gacha, Avatar The Last Airbender, etc. So it's safe to say that I have experience with sane and insane communities. But what is it that makes these communities either sane or insane? First of all, the content in the show itself can play a huge part in what the fandom is like. For example, if a show is quite dark in its content, the fandom will mainly consist of alternative endings, which are happier, sad spin-off stories / fanfictions, and dark humor. But if a show is more upbeat and joyful, then its content will be sadder endings, fanfiction, especially shipping, and cosplays, etc. So content can really affect whether the fandom is a good one or not. I think that the fandom can sometimes put people off watching a show. Insider information here: I personally put off watching My Hero Academia for so long because I heard the fandom was insane. I found the manga 2 years ago and only started watching it in September this year. Things like this can truly deter people from watching shows. MHA was an amazing show but has a very strange fandom. There are some good sides to the fandom, like Mars Mignon's impressions, cosplays, etc., but there are a lot of weird sides: MLM fetishization, sexualizing minors, and more. Secondly, we're going to talk about a fairly obvious way to ruin a show: spoilers. Warning, spoilers for MHA Season 4. There's nothing worse than receiving spoilers for basically an entire show. When I first started watching MHA, I quickly learned not to look at the online content made about the show, as pretty much everything contained spoilers. But something I just want to say is that if someone watches some of the show but you finished it, make sure to ask if they care about spoilers and if they think they'll finish it. Some people just don't finish shows and don't mind spoilers as much. Back to what I was talking about. Before I even watched Season 4, I knew about what happened with the Area and Overhaul arc. It made the season less of a surprise with its content. However, I tried to put this to the side and enjoy the season. It's actually my favorite season so far. So yeah, spoilers can easily cause arguments, so make sure to ask for permission before talking about something later in the show than someone's watched. Third of all, fanfiction. This topic can easily make the stuff that actually happened in the show and people's interpretations of what happened blend into one. For example, much of the My Hero community believes Bakugo Katsuki to be going deaf, which explains his shouting, and I once forgot that he's simply just expressive in his vocal tone. The same thing goes for Hinata Shoyo of HAIKYU. Many believe him to be innocent, but in reality he's not, and this isn't a big deal. But whenever I see something about Hinata, the comments are always like, OMG, innocent cinnamon roll. But in reality he's just your average 16-year-old boy. Most fanfictions and headcanons are good and can really help to add more depth to a story, but some can ruin things. The idea of Bakugo going deaf is a nice touch to his character, but when people are headcanoning things that are inappropriate for the character's age, a line needs to be drawn. Express your creativity, sure, but make sure it's appropriate, please. This leads nicely on to my fourth point: the sexualization of minors. Some shows can often make sexual jokes or references and use of age characters to do so, shows like Friends for example. But shows like KAKEGURUI is centered around minors characters who are sexualized, whether intentional or not, during the show. Just pointing out that I have not personally seen the show but have done some research into this topic. An article written by a queer writing site states that during both the opening and closing credits there is an emphasis placed on her butt and breasts, to a point that makes the viewer uncomfortable. Considering the characters are primarily between 16 and 17, this is disturbing. These characters are minors. No, I do not mean the age of consent, I mean the legal age of adulthood, which is 18. Minors, primarily teenagers, already have enough on their plate to deal with. They don't need the additional pressure of being sexualized. Personally, I have been asked invasive questions surrounding this stuff, which is disgusting to ask a minor. I don't care about the age of consent in Japan. These characters are still minors, meaning making content like this with minors is sickening. Next up is the fetishizing of boy-x-boy relationships in anime communities. Now, I used to only ship BXB and I don't do so anymore as I realize that it was wrong. But some people don't realize this is wrong, so I'm going to lay the reasons out. Reason 1 is that it can make couples uncomfortable and not want to tell anyone that they're dating. Reason 2 is that it's mostly consumed by straight girls. Which is weird, and they often talk about not liking straight ships due to them being too bland. Reason 3 is the idea that these relationships are just for entertainment and that the people inside the relationship aren't human too. Reason 4 is that it gives people ideas of these relationships that could not be further than reality. There are so many more reasons, but we'd be here all day if I got into it. Linking back into one of my earlier points, girls in certain types of anime are so hypersexualized that it leaves a hole in the bottom of my stomach. Take Momo Yaoyorozu of My Hero Academia as an example. Her hero costume is one of the most criticized parts of the entire show. As the anime is rated as shounen, which is aimed towards teenage boys, it's to be expected that some characters are dressed like this. But Momo is merely 16, meaning that not only is this sexualizing women, but it's also sexualizing minors again. Another thing that annoys me about fandoms is when people make fan content and completely change everything about a character. Occasional tweaks to fit a created narrative are fine, but it basically drains everything from a character. I've seen a lot of people change Tsukishima Kei to be one of Karasuno's friendliest members when he was already being nasty towards Hinata Shoyo and Kageyama Tobio in his debut episode, alongside Yamaguchi Tadashi, but Yamaguchi grows friendlier throughout the show. This basically strips all of Tsukishima's character away and takes away the memorable factor of him. Surprisingly, communities like the one for Friends are actually the least hypersexual, despite the show making sexual references frequently. All characters are of age in the show, yet I rarely see the more inappropriate side of the show portrayed in this light. But communities instead find minors to make this content far more frequently, which is quite disturbing. I'm not saying it's not okay to make content like this for shows you like, as long as the characters used are of age, and I mean age of adulthood here, not the age of consent, as this varies globally. In conclusion, sometimes fandoms can bring more problems than needed to a show. The days of simply watching a show and seeing occasional fan art are gone. The days of not hypersexualizing teenagers are gone. Like I said, teenagers should be out living their lives instead of making or consuming this type of content in bulk, or mainly at all. Here are some things to do to make sure you don't deter people away from watching shows. Don't give spoilers without permission. Don't sexualize minors. Don't sexualize gay or LGBTQ+ relationships. Respect women for goodness sake. Keep inappropriate fanfiction away from minor characters, and finally, don't write fanfiction that strips characters of their personalities entirely. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the continued support to those who have stuck around whilst I began experimenting with this type of content. It means a lot. This is the type of content this channel will have from now on, and my channel has been wiped of any content aside from videos I am proud of. Old videos can be found in a public playlist, but these videos will remain unlisted. I am thinking of branching out and making animatics, but I'm very cautious as it's time consuming and I have to get ready to take exams and stuff soon, so videos can't get in the way. So, for now, expect rants and speed paints. That's all for today. Thank you and goodbye.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. No way, no, I'll give up everything.
now, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this, I just wanna break these chains. Always asking for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many ones that are so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started the outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.